Jean-Baptiste de La Salle was a French priest, educational reformer, and founder of the Institute of the Brothers of the Christian Schools. He is a saint of the Roman Catholic Church and the patron saint of teachers. De La Salle dedicated much of his life to the education of poor children in France. In doing so, he started many lasting educational practices. He is considered the founder of the first Catholic schools. Life and work. De La Salle was born to a wealthy family in Reims, France on April 30, 1651. He was the eldest child of Louis de La Salle and Nicole de Moet de Brillat. La Salle received the tonsure at age 11 and was named canon of Reims Cathedral when he was 15. He was sent to the Collège des Bons Enfants, where he pursued higher studies and, on July 10, 1669, he took the degree of Master of Arts. When de La Salle had completed his classical, literary, and philosophical courses, he was sent to Paris to enter the seminary of St. Sulpice on October 18, 1670. His mother died on July 19, 1671, and on April 9, 1672, his father died. This circumstance obliged him to leave St. Sulpice on April 19, 1672. He was now 21, the head of the family, and as such had the responsibility of educating his 4 brothers and 2 sisters. He completed his theological studies and was ordained to the priesthood at the age of 26 on April 9, 1678. 2 years later he received a doctorate in theology. De La Salle was a man of refined manners, a cultured mind, and great practical ability, in whom personal prosperity was balanced with kindness and affability. In physical appearance he was of commanding presence, somewhat above the medium height. He had large, penetrating blue eyes and a broad forehead. Sisters of the Child Jesus, de La Salle became involved in education little by little, without ever consciously setting out to do so. He lived in a time when society was characterized by great disparity between the rich and the poor. Jean-Baptiste de La Salle believed that education gave hope and opportunity for people to lead better lives of dignity and freedom. The Sisters of the Child Jesus were a new religious congregation whose work was the care of the sick and education of poor girls. The young priest had helped them in becoming established, and then served as their chaplain and confessor. It was through his work with the sisters that in 1679, he met Adrien Niel. What began as a charitable effort to help Adrien Niel establish a school for the poor in de La Salle's hometown gradually became his life's work. With de La Salle's help, a school was soon opened. Shortly thereafter, a wealthy woman in Reims told Niel that she also would endow a school, but only if La Salle would help. Institute of the Brothers of the Christian Schools. At that time, most children had little hope for the future. Moved by the plight of the poor who seemed so far from salvation, either in this world or the next, he determined to put his own talents and advanced education at the service of the children often left to themselves and badly brought up. De La Salle knew that the teachers in Reims were struggling, lacking leadership, purpose, and training, and he found himself taking increasingly deliberate steps to help this small group of men with their work. First, in 1680, he invited them to take their meals in his home, as much to teach them table manners as to inspire and instruct them in their work. This crossing of social boundaries was one that his relatives found difficult to bear. In 1681, de La Salle realized that he would have to take a further step. He brought the teachers into his own home to live with him. De La Salle's relatives were deeply disturbed, his social class was scandalized. When, a year later, his family home was lost at auction because of a family lawsuit, de La Salle rented a house into which he and the handful of teachers moved. De La Salle thereby began a new religious institute, the Institute of the Brothers of the Christian Schools, also known as the De La Salle Brothers or, most commonly in the United States, the Christian Brothers. The De La Salle Brothers were the first Roman Catholic religious teaching religious institute that did not include any priests. In his own words, one decision led to another until de La Salle found himself doing something that he had never anticipated. De La Salle wrote, De La Salle's enterprise met opposition from the ecclesiastical authorities who resisted the creation of a new form of religious life, a community of consecrated laymen to conduct free schools together and by association. the educational establishment resented his innovative methods and his insistence on gratuity for all, regardless of whether they could afford to pay. Nevertheless, De La Salle and his brothers succeeded in creating a network of quality schools throughout France that featured instruction in the vernacular, students grouped according to ability and achievement, integration of religious instruction with secular subjects, well-prepared teachers with a sense of vocation and mission, and the involvement of parents. In 1685, De La Salle founded what is generally considered the first normal school that is, a school whose purpose is to train teachers in Reims, France. Worn out by austerities and exhausting labors, De La Salle died at Saint-Yon, near Rouen, early in 1719 on Good Friday, only 3 weeks before his 68th birthday. Veneration. Pope Leo XIII canonized him on May 24, 1900, and Pope Pius X inserted his feast in the general Roman calendar in 1904 for celebration on May 15. Because of his life and inspirational writings, Pope Pius XII proclaimed him patron saint of teachers on May 15, 1950. In the 1969 revision of the church calendar, Pope Paul VI moved his feast day to April 7, the day of his death or birth to heaven, his dies natalis. Legacy. De La Salle was a pioneer in programs for training lay teachers. Of his writings on education, Matthew Arnold remarked, only later works on the same subject have little improved the precepts, while they entirely lack the unction. He was a pedagogical thinker of note and is among the founders of a distinctively modern pedagogy. His educational innovations include Sunday courses for working young men, one of the first institutions in France for the care of delinquents, technical schools, and secondary schools for modern languages, arts, and sciences. De La Salle's work quickly spread through France and, after his death, continued to spread across the globe. Currently, about 6,000 brothers and 75,000 lay and religious colleagues worldwide serve as teachers, counselors, and guides to 900,000 students in over 1,000 educational institutions in 84 countries. There are a number of streets named after La Salle, generally due to the location of the Christian Brothers School. These include, Swa Sukhumvit 105, Bangkok, Thailand; in Bacolod, Philippines; and La Salle Street in Mandaluyong City. There is also De La Salle Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri; La Salle Road in Hong Kong; and La Salle Road, Towson, Maryland. Also, there are many educational institutions named after him, such as De La Salle University in Manila, Philippines; La Salle University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania; La Salle College High School, Windermere, Pennsylvania; La Salle High School in Pasadena, California; De La Salle High School in Concord, California; De La Salle College, Canada, and De La Salle High School in Revesby, New South Wales, Australia. He is one of the 6 patron saints of Good Samaritan Catholic College. There is also St. La Salle School in Reedley, California. There is a technical school, College de La Salle, in Douala, Cameroon, and De La Salle College, Jersey. There is a De La Salle Academy in Fort Myers, Florida, University de La Salle in Bogota, Colombia. See also, Institute of the Brothers of the Christian Schools, List of La Sallian educational institutions, listing of the works of Alexander Figuglieri, references. Further reading, Psalm FSC, Luke, The Work is Yours, The Life of Saint Jean-Baptiste de La Salle, Christian Brothers Publications, 1989, Van Grieken FSC, George, Touching the Hearts of the Students, Characteristics of La Sallian Schools, Christian Brothers Conference, 1999. Koch, Cal. Corligan FSC, Jeffrey. Gross, Jeffrey, Jean-Baptiste de La Salle, The Spirituality of Christian Education, Paulist Press, 2004. Calcutta FSC, Alfred, de La Salle, A City Saint and the Liberation of the Poor Through Education, De La Salle Publications, Oxford. 1993. External links, Virtual Pilgrimage of De La Salle's Life Official Website, De La Salle Christian Brothers Worldwide Official Website, The Vocation of the Brothers United States and Canada, Complete works of Saint Jean-Baptiste de La Salle PDF format, Founder statue in St. Peter's Basilica.